A disagreement that fell mostly along political lines led to legislation for a new sales tax, failing to get out of the last legislative session. The other, local option sales tax, commonly known as OLOST, could become another point of a contention when state legislators resume work at the Capitol in January. The Macon-Bibb County Commission asked the local legislative delegation earlier this year to support an OLOST measure that would allow residents to vote on the new penny-on-the-dollar tax. And whoever sits in the 3 House district seats up for grabs this year would have one of the few votes that determine if the full House votes on any OLOST bill. On May 22, primaries will be held for 3 state representatives districts that represent at least part of Macon-Bibb. One dispute among legislators was over whether Macon-Bibb County leaders would have to roll back property taxes for the full amount of extra revenue the new tax brings in. Or would it require a change in state law for a 50-50 split, with a 50% rollback and the other 50% going to county operations, something supported by the Commission's resolution. The new tax would also lead to a property assessment freeze for homeowners with a homestead exemption. Ultimately, even if OLOST legislation is approved, it would still be left up to Bibb residents to vote on whether the tax would go into effect. The Telegraph asked the candidates whether they would support the OLOST, which type of rollback they prefer, and to comment on why they do or do not support it. Below are the responses received. Some have been edited for clarity. House District 141 Gary Bechtel, R. If the Macon-Bibb Commission requests that the delegation consider a piece of local legislation allowing the Commission to call for a referendum for voters of Macon-Bibb County to vote on a second penny of sales tax, I would consult with the other members of the delegation, and if it was the consensus of the delegation, I would certainly consider it. If the request was made by the Macon-Bibb County Commission, I would support maintaining the current state statute regarding local option sales tax and that all revenue raised from a second penny go for property tax relief, just as the first penny does at this time. Shane Mobley, R. I don't support any tax increase at all. I think Macon-Bibb County needs to right-size their government, stop spending and get their fiscal house in order. I don't think we should have to choose between one tax or another tax. One of my biggest issues if we have the OLOST is the property tax on businesses. The problem you run into, there's no limit to what they can raise for property taxes on a business. I think what's wrong is it's going to make more small businesses not want to do business in our county. Todd Tolbert, R. I believe in allowing the voters to decide on this optional sales tax. Our state legislators should honor the requests of the local elected officials within the limits of the law. It is then up to the commissioners to educate the community on why the tax is needed. It is up to the voters to decide if this is a good way to be taxed and if the commissioners they have elected will be good stewards of the tax receipts. I support the current law, which states that a 100% rollback of property taxes is required once this tax is voted in. However, the commissioners could vote to raise property taxes after the rollback occurs, so I believe the ballot question should be clear so the voters understand the intent of the Macon-Bibb commissioners. It's important to remember that this increase in property tax could be rolled back once the financial state of the county improves. Dale Washburn, R. I do not support the OLOST legislation. I am opposed to any tax rate increases on the people of Bibb County and the people of Monroe County who would be coming to Bibb County to shop. Bibb County officials must cut spending to solve the financial problems that exist rather than increasing taxes. Frank Austin, D. No, I do not support the OLOST. The things we were promised with consolidation did not come to fruition. As a homeowner in the new Macon-Bibb government, I've seen my property tax rise, I've seen my garbage bill rise, but I have not seen an equivalent rise in services. My goal is to represent House District 142. Within this district we have senior citizens, single mothers, and family trying to make ends meet. The government is quick to raise taxes to solve a problem. It's time to hold our elected official accountable for the decisions they make. It is time to say no to more taxes and yes to more fiscal responsibility and accountability of our elected officials. Miriam Paris, D. Incumbent, I do not support the OLOST because I believe it to be a regressive tax on the poor. I also believe it would hurt small businesses in our area, making them less competitive with their counterparts in surrounding counties. Also, while I understand that a sizable portion of the proceeds come from those that do not live here, the OLOST would be a tax the citizens of Macon-Bibb endure constantly. Unfortunately, once taxes go up, they are less likely to come down. The administration along with the commission have some tough decisions to make before it can sign off on a new special tax. To borrow from a friend, there is no substitute for good governance. House District 144 Trey Ennis, R., did not respond to an email sent by the Telegraph. Danny Mathis, R., did not respond to an email sent by the Telegraph. Gregory Odums, D., I agree with the Democratic representative leaders. I would be in favor of the 50-50 property rollback. The reason I am for it is because it will help all the people. The purpose of any legislation is to help and assist the people. We are their representative. The 50-50 legislation would do just that. As a representative of the people, you must be flexible when working across line with your Republican counterpart. I feel the Democrats are doing that. Milton Sampson, R., I am not a tax and spend person. Yes, I support OLOST at 50-50 rollback because it provides some relief, and I believe in letting the people decide. Jessica Walden, D., a 100% rollback would give the local Board of Commissioners the opportunity to make good decisions about the timing of community reinvestment, given current budget restraints. In a 21st century economy, for our region to thrive, we must diversify revenue streams while we make sure that every tax dollar, regardless of source, is invested wisely, to give Central Georgians access to the resources we need to improve our quality of life and create an economy that produces jobs in our communities. We should give voters the opportunity to decide whether or not to approve this penny sales tax. Cheyenne Warnock, D., did not respond to an email sent by the Telegraph. Mary Whippleloo, D., yes, 50-50. I am for it because Bibb County is in a bad financial position, and they need a balanced budget.